Universal's Epic Universe is shaping up to be a fantastic theme park, one that's certainly going to revolutionize not only the Orlando theme park complex, but also the theme park industry as a whole. And with Epic only 1 year away from opening, Universal's been releasing way more details about the park, and as a result, the hype has reached a fever pitch. It's gotten so hyped up, in fact, that it's gotten to the point where I've actually seen people calling this park the best theme park in the world on opening day, despite the fact it hasn't even opened yet. But as is the case with any new major theme park project, there's always a chance that things might not all be sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. But don't get it twisted, folks. I'm just as excited about Epic Universe as the next guy, if not more so than the next guy. But the narrative surrounding Epic Universe has become so overwhelmingly positive to the point where I don't hear anybody discussing the park's potential pitfalls, the parts of the park that maybe could be a concern not only on opening day, but maybe even in the first few years of its operations. And listen, I'm not here to rain on anyone's parade, but I think you're going to be in for a bit of a shock if you think that Epic Universe is going to open on day one and be flawless straight out the gate. Especially considering there are some looming concerns that have a high probability of rearing their ugly head once this park opens. So allow me to play devil's advocate here and discuss what could go wrong with Epic Universe. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and even pretend to say that the quality of this theme park is going to come into question whatsoever. The quality of the attractions, the quality of the lands seem like they're going to be top notch. Universal has clearly spared no expense when it comes to building this theme park. I mean, Epic Universe is shaping up to be an incredibly innovative and unique theme park. And really, that's the reason why the park is as hyped up as it is. Not simply because it's a brand new theme park, but because it's breaking the mold in the theme park industry. However, because of how high quality this park is likely to be, and because of how hyped up it has become, the park is inevitably going to face extreme levels of crowds. Not just for opening day, but even potentially for the first couple years that this park is open. I mean, you have to consider that this is the first major theme park of this scale to open up in the United States in over 20 years. Theme parks are more popular today than they've ever been. We have no idea what the turnout is going to look like, just how bad it could possibly get. But I'm sure that you probably already figured that, right? Brand new theme park, brand new Universal park, it's gonna be mobbed. Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of knew that was happening, so this is not news. What you might not have considered is how is Universal planning on handling those crowds? I mean, the park is gonna open up with 11 rides, which for a brand new theme park is actually pretty good. I mean, it's the same amount of rides that Epcot currently has, and is more rides than Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom has. But is that really saying a whole lot? I mean, Hollywood Studios has 10 rides, one less than Epic Universe is going to have at opening. And Hollywood Studios faces some of the worst wait times at any theme park in the entire world. And that's a ride lineup that's supported by a number of long sit-down shows, which take people out of the rest of the park for a substantial amount of time, thus lessening the capacity burden that the rides have to handle. And yet, despite this, Hollywood Studios is still saddled with some horrible wait times. And here's the thing, when it comes to Epic Universe, as far as we know, there's only one sit-down show that is confirmed for the park, and that's the How to Train Your Dragon show. There may also end up being a second sit-down show in the Harry Potter land, but that is yet to be confirmed. But even if we do assume that this park opens with 2 sit-down shows and 11 rides, is that really going to be enough to handle the amount of guests coming through the door? I mean, if we're assuming this park is going to open with similar capacity, give or take, to Hollywood Studios, the answer is absolutely not, and it's going to be faced with some insane wait times. However, to be fair to Epic Universe, though Hollywood Studios on paper has similar capacity, we know that there are a lot of rides in their lineup that don't have a lot of capacity. Slinky Dog Dash, Alien Swirling Saucers, hell, even Rise of the Resistance does not have a lot of capacity. If Epic Universe is able to offer up a ride lineup that's filled with rides that just churn out a ton of guests on an hourly basis, then they'll have no problem being able to meet the capacity demands of the park. And with rides like Starfall Racers and Yoshi's Adventure that seem like they could have very high capacity, maybe this won't be an issue at all. However, keep in mind what I said about Epic Universe earlier on. It's an incredibly innovative park. There are several rides that are incredibly ambitious. They have several different moving pieces, are extremely complex, and are doing something new that Universal has never done before. And though ambitious rides like this tend to result in high quality, world-class attractions, it also sometimes results in operational inefficiencies and downtime. Take Universal's own Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure, for instance. This is a ride that, probably top 5 across the entire resort, maybe even top 3. It's one of the best rides Universal has ever made. And a big reason for that is because the ride itself is incredibly complex, it's very complicated. So much so to the point where Universal wasn't even able to actually get the max amount of capacity that they were hoping to get for the attraction. Originally, Universal believed they can get 12 trains on track at once, but ultimately the actual ride system proved to be too complicated to pull that off. And as a result, the most I've heard them be able to get on track at once has been 9. And that's the absolute maximum. Most times, they don't even run that many trains. They'd run less than that. In fact, it was so bad on opening day that I believe it was around 5 trains were on track on opening day, and as a result, the wait time skyrocketed all the way to 10 hours. There's also a similar case with Disney in Rise of the Resistance, as that's a ride that also features a bunch of complex moving pieces and also has stuff happening outside of the main ride experience as well, with the pre-shows that also have some ride elements as a part of them as well, causing this ride to face not only its own share of operational inefficiencies, but also a significant amount of downtime, not only in its opening year, but even to this day, as Disney has resorted to shutting off some effects in order to make the ride more efficient and avoid it from having to go down in order to fix those effects. And in spite of this, Hagrid and Rise of Resistance have turned out to be world-class attractions, and I think this will also likely be the case when it comes to the new Harry Potter attraction in the Ministry of Magic. That ride, from what it sounds like, might be the most complicated, complex ride system ever created. Apparently, there are pieces from several different third parties all coming together to make the attraction work, when most rides only work with one manufacturer, if not maybe at best a couple. So, though I have no doubts in my mind, this is allowing Universal to create a phenomenal, one-of-a-kind attraction, maybe one that has the chance to be the best ride ever made. It's also going to carry with it significant risks of failures, downtime, and operational inefficiencies. And even other attractions, like the new Universal Monsters Dark Ride and the new Donkey Kong roller coaster Minecart Madness, carry with them these same risks as well. However, that being said, I'm a little less concerned about those, as the Universal Monsters attraction is supposed to be a Kuka arm ride, which is the same as Forbidden Journey, which Universal has had pretty good success with. I don't think they really faced any sort of major operational issues, and actually has had a tremendous amount of capacity. However, this will be very different from that, feature a lot more practical sets and effects. It'll be interesting to see how that ends up working out. And then, of course, the Minecart Madness roller coaster, we've been seeing that get tested backstage for ages now. So, maybe they figured out all the kinks with it. We'll have to see. The other thing I'd keep an eye on as far as operational efficiency goes has to do with the roller coasters. Both Starfall Racers and the Curse of the Werewolf spinning roller coaster are going to be manufactured by Mach Rides. Certainly a prestigious manufacturer in their own right, however, them and Universal have never worked together in any sort of major capacity. And with that being the case, there's always the possibility that there's some sort of miscommunication between the two parties as far as getting things set up the way that each one wants it to be. And though this would probably be a concern, especially like a Six Flags or Cedar Fair for that matter, as Cedar Point just opened up Top Thrill 2, the first major project they've worked on with Zamperla, and just days after it opened, it's now had to close indefinitely as a result of unexpected issues. However, it's not so much of a concern here, especially considering that we're already seeing these Mach Rides roller coasters testing now, today, a year before park open. Normally, when you build a new roller coaster, you only get maybe a month or two of testing before you open the ride. So to have a whole year to test these attractions out, make sure they work, get them as efficient as possible, and even train ride ops on them for a significant amount of time before they actually open the park is such a significant advantage that most new roller coasters do not have, to the point where I don't know if there's going to be any issue there. Plus, Mock Rides has their own theme park in Germany, Europa Park, which features several of Mock Rides roller coasters with high levels of theming and tremendous throughput capacity. So even though Mock Rides has not worked in this large of a capacity with a Universal or even a Disney for that matter, they've proven already through their own theme park that they're capable of making attractions like this for a large crowd and having them be successful. But here's the thing. It only takes one of the looming concerns that I just listed for wait times to be a problem. And if multiple of these issues happen to come to fruition, have a good night, right? If crowds are high, if capacity is low, and we're seeing rides face massive amounts of downtime, it might not necessarily be the most fun park to be at. Using Hollywood Studios as a frame of reference once again, if some of these issues were to come to fruition, Epic Universe would likely be looking at hour-plus waits on several of their attractions, if not most of them, with many probably going close, if not over 2 hours, in the case of probably Harry Potter and any other rides that would be facing any sort of major operational inefficiencies. And here's the thing, this whole situation could actually be made worse. If Express Pass is available on day one or in the opening year, while these issues are persisting, then those wait times are only going to become worse in standby because you'll be getting passed by people in the express lane. Of course, if you can afford Express and Express is available, then hey, more power to you. You're going to have a great time. Congratulations, man. For the rest of us standing in standby, oh my God, it's not going to be fun. And here's the thing. If things really get bad, if they really get out of hand, then you know where Universal's turning. They're turning to virtual queues. And you might say, oh, virtual queue, that's great. That means that I just get to put in my spot in the app and just wait until I'm called and then I just walk on. But as we've seen at both Disney and Universal when they've used virtual queues, that is not the case. You are reserving your time to enter the line. You are not reserving your time to ride the ride. So when you go and you cash in your time to go on the attraction, guess what? You're still waiting 30, 45, an hour long to wait to get on this attraction. It is not you waiting in line by just hanging around the park. No, you are just waiting for your time to be called to wait in line. And if we're talking about 10-hour Hagrid lines for several attractions throughout the park, I guarantee you that is going to be on the table. But you know what? Enough of Universal suffering from success. Enough of Universal being so successful, so jam-packed with people and guests and money that they just simply can't handle all the people coming in, and that's what causes all the problems. But imagine for a second that Epic Universe is a commercial failure, that people just don't show up to Epic Universe as much as Universal needed them to or expected that they would. All of this hype we've heard about Epic Universe is just coming from the theme park fan community, and people outside of that, just the casual theme park visitors, are largely uninterested in Epic Universe or aren't really changing their plans to go and visit it. I know, a probably unlikely scenario, but I just want to strike a little more fear in your heart, because if this were to happen, it would literally be a doomsday, not just for Universal, but for the entire theme park industry, because what it would prove is that we've hit a ceiling. For the past several decades, the theme park industry has seen higher and higher attendance numbers and revenue numbers year after year, with only a few times of minor setbacks. If a brand new major theme park in the theme park capital of the world could not succeed or came up short of expectations, it would literally completely derail any future plans that any theme park had, because it would completely change everyone's mindset. Instead of expecting that you can gain attendance by adding new attractions, the belief would now be you're just fighting to keep your guests. And for many parks, especially regional parks, there'd be no incentive to build anything new because, well, you're not going to gain any more attendance. You've already hit the ceiling. You've already hit the cap. When you talk about Universal, yeah, they might invest a little bit more in Epic Universe early on to try and get people to come to the park. But if that doesn't work, then you can expect investment across the entire resort to slow down significantly. And when it comes to Disney, what have we been talking about? What has been the point of contention when it comes to Disney as far as their future investments in the parks go? That Universal is pushing them to do it. They'll invest in the parks every now and then to freshen things up and get guests to come back for a visit, but they're not going to have this explosion of investment. That $60 billion they promised to invest, forget about it. It's gone. If Epic Universe, and subsequently Universal as a whole, is no longer threatening Disney in any sort of way, well then there's no reason for Disney to invest massive amounts of money into the park. Zero. And you want to know who at the end of the day that really hurts? Us. The visitors, the consumers, because we get less new lands, less new attractions, less new innovative and exciting experiences, and the whole theme park industry becomes stale. The whole pipeline stalls out and we lose. But that probably won't happen, right guys? Yeah, no, we don't have to worry about that. Surely not, yeah. No, but for real, I actually don't think that these concerns are likely to be too big of an issue. I think that the wait time thing could actually be a problem. The crowds could be significant. We'll have to see. I don't think that Epic Universe is likely to fail, but you never know. And I think that with how overhyped Epic Universe has become, it's a good thing to probably keep yourself a little bit grounded in reality and not just assume this park is going to be perfect straight out the gate and could actually face some realistic problems in the early going. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Epic Universe is in danger of facing any sort of problems in the early going? Or do you think it's going to open up as a flawless theme park and it's going to be the best theme park in the world straight from day one? Love to hear what to say, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.